Okay, we are in the week 4, the final week, and for what I've been seeing, we really just need to add the functionality of adding the row, and the optional challenge is to delete the row. I'm going to do both. I already have been reading and looking around, so I have a good idea what I'm going to do. Um, I've have it the icon component here open, and just to be able to use it we need to import from the the collections, and we need to put the name. I also have the toolbar here, so we are able to put the plus button there. And I also have been looking how I can get the row, not the ID of the item when we press the delete. So let's start. One of the things they say is that we need to change the package JSON because it contains different versions. I guess the items are not working on those versions that we have here. So let me copy and paste, save and install. We can take this, and as always we are going to change the title on app. Yeah. Okay, it started. Let's run. Like before, I have it here open. And we can close this. We can copy the new title of this week. Okay. So since our data is going to change, I need to do something before. That is make this in a state instead of using directly the variable. So let's just create data and pass the full table to here. We need to import the state. Okay. We also going to need two functions, one for the delete and other for the add or the creation. So let's do it. So add entry, and we're going to receive the row. I'm going to show you why I'm putting the row here, and yeah, and the delete entry, and I'm going just to receive the ID. Like I said, is going to be the ID that we selected. The row here is because they in here they say us to use the add row dialog, and in the add row dialog they are basically expecting a props, and this props is being used here and basically is just run, and they just pass the form data. The form data is nothing less than a structure like this, so we still need to put the ID too, and basically we just need to pass the function that expects the row. So we have it here, and since we are using the previous state we need to use the previous states to update to a recent one. And to add a new row we really just need to copy the previous state and append the new row. And like I said, they don't give us the ID, so we are going just to do a quick ID, and I'm going to use the math floor like we did in the previous one, and math um, it's random, yes, and let's make an ID possible to this number, and this should be it. And for the deletion, so since we are expecting the ID, we also need to use the previous state because we are changing, and we also not, and we're going to create update data, and we're going to filter the data. So we are going to create an array from the old array, and we're going to filter the structure that has the ID. No, that. So we are going to fetch all the filters that don't have all the values that don't have the ID that we pass. So that's that. We need to tell this is a function, and we just return the new data. Don't forget that if we come here, this is the ID. That's why I have the ID here. We also are creating here. Now we are not using this variable anymore. We are using the variable from the use state. We're going to pass, let's call it on add, the add entry, and the on delete. That's going to be the delete entry, and that should be it now. We should be able to still see our data correctly. Now we can close this and start going to the table. And yeah, so in here, like I said, we are going to use the toolbar, and I have the example prepared here. So since we are creating another component, we need to wrap it. And we don't need this, and also we don't need this because the add row dialog is already a button, and in here they are expecting, like I said, the props add new row, and on we are passing hours that it was called on add. So that's it. And yeah, why is not working? Because we forgot to import things. So let's import the toolbar and the toolbar spacer, so the button stays on the right side. And now we see the things, and the button should be working. So let's create the test. Perfect. So it's being created, and now we are going for the deletion. The deletion, for what I see too, we need just to create one of those to appear the icon. So let's do that. And since we are not receiving a property, we can put a dot. And like I said, I already see what I want from here, and it's the row original ID. It basically returns the original, or I don't know. Maybe it's best if I do a console log. But okay, let's before that let's do the icon things. So the icon, we need to import it. So like I said, we need to change the collection to this one, and the icon name is called delete. And in the icon we need the interactive to it to be clickable, and this, and the status, this was the batch custom, we don't need this. The icon, the name, so the delete that we are importing, and on click, it's when we click the icon. So let's just call the on click, no, on delete handler, and let's pass the row variable. So basically we are sending the row, and let's create here the delete handler very quick. So we receive the row, and this is a const, it's a function. And in here, let's do a quick console log, just for me to remember the property I want. What is giving the error? Import. I failed to resolve the import. Why? Import to UI5s. It's not supposed to be to UI5s. Okay. Should be working, right? With the icon that is not imported. Okay. And now yes. So when we click, we receive the object, and this is the row. And like I said, we have the original, yeah, original, and in the original we have all the fields of the data that we pass. So basically what we want is the ID. So in the row, properties, no, original. I don't know why I'm thinking of properties. So original. And basically we are going to call props on delete, if I'm not mistaken. So in here on the solution, we create the on delete, correct? So we're just going to pass the ID. And should be working. Not really. Don't forget the update, is just because every time we are rendering, since we are generating in the batch the status, it's always changing. It's the way I did. Doesn't mean it's the correct way, but really doesn't matter. It was just to have some stats. So the deletion is not working because um, in here we are using this data and we are not updating this data. Basically we are just fetching the data and we are not updating the old data. So for this we need to first say that we have less one item, so from the current one, and we also need to delete that from our data from the table custom component. So set data, we're going to use the previous data. This is just the data that is already loaded, and we're just going to delete it. And to delete it is the same way, so const update data, and the previous data we're going to filter just to have the values that don't contain the ID. So we create a new array and we're going to return this new data. And now should be working. So let's create a test. 15, 20, and now we have our test. Let's delete the 90. ID is not defined. Okay, I should have tested it first before testing the add. Of course, this is here, and I guess it's complaining from here. And since table custom, it's complaining here. Oh, okay, makes sense. It's the other one that we are receiving and have the ID here, the whole original ID. Okay, so it should be working when we press 1. Yeah, and delete 3, 15, 20. Okay, let's add another test. Let's delete the 17. Go down, 17 disappeared, and we cannot fetch the new value. And I think I know why. Basically here we are just getting the new data and we are expecting to always receive 5 items, and this is not always true. So the correct thing that we need to do is to fetch more 5 and actually only add 5 or the number that we got. So in here I'm going to fetch the data like we are doing it here, pass it to here, but now I'm just going to add really the ones that we are getting. So now let's refresh to start over. So let's create a test again. Don't forget the status doesn't matter because it's always generated dynamically every time it's rendered. So now it appear the test, right? Right. So let's delete the 90. Why didn't? Okay. So let's create another test 2. And let's delete the 40 now. And now we have the test 2. As you see, everything seems to be working. And yeah, for what I think, that's everything. And yeah, now it's just a screenshot.